We are back with episode 2. I held up some fingers, but if you weren't watching us on YouTube, then you couldn't see.
And they were immaculate fingers, by the way.
Beautiful. Get over there, check that out. Like and subscribe.
Who does your cuticles? Those are impressive.
Generally, Mother Nature. And by Mother Nature, I mean all kinds of random crap.
Okay. She's doing something right.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mother Nature, I'm really happy about this one because this one feels like Mother Nature really standing on us for the shitty things that we do and are as humans, or at least as the all-consuming race of the world.
The
definitely.
plague that we are.
Mm-hmm.
We are.
If you haven't figured it out yet and didn't watch the last video to know what was coming, shame on you. We're talking about the Wendigo.
Mm-hmm. Which in some circles, just saying the name can set it after you. So we're all screwed now.
Well.
I mean, we are all collectors. We're definitely are already done. We're screwed. We can't resist. So correct me if I'm wrong. You may be familiar with Wendigos from pop culture. There you got the skulls and the antlers. Doggo. Skulls and antlers, and they're big boys. That's not actually what the legend says. Am I correct?
That's how they're portraying it in like a bunch of like Supernatural and stuff will portray Wendigos like that because it's more spooky.
I mean, it is cool.
It's cool to look at. It's an interesting take on it.
The way I've heard it, that it's been, for lack of a better term, that's how we've whitewashed it, but that's not how the natives actually portrayed it in their stories.
Right.
No.
Now, that being said, if you're a malevolent spirit and you decide you want to wear a deer skull, I'm not going to stop you.
No, it's a good look.
It really is. I approve.
But no, that's not generally how it went down. At the end of the day, it's kind of a greed spirit.
Sure. Yeah.
A spirit. Well, it's kind of like, from what I understand of it, it's a person who has been overcome with greed and just a need for something or things.
It needs to have more. It constantly needs more.
It's just centered around greed, and that person is overtaken either by a spirit or a demon, and they just become all about greed. And it kind of
damn Yu-Gi-Oh players.
Mm-hmm.
It gets portrayed. I mean, you could have greed for anything, but it gets portrayed for food, like just a need to eat. So the creatures are portrayed as like these really gangly, kind of skinny things, but then they have this pot belly.
Right.
And they need to eat. They need to
And they're cannibalistic.
Yes. So when you have a need to eat, you don't necessarily, you'll eat food, but you'll eat whatever you can get your hands on. Kind of like if you've seen Spirited Away.
Oh, yeah.
The No Face. He just eats whatever he can get his hands on, and he gets bigger.
Needed a Snickers.
Yeah, that's essentially what he is. He's getting bigger every time he eats something, so he needs to eat more because now he has more to feed, and that's basically what the Wendigo is.
Right. I was going to, just to reinforce that, I guess, what I read was that they grow in proportion to what they just ate, so that they cannot be satisfied.
Yeah. They're, and it's. Ordinarily, I wouldn't lump spirits or demons or what have you under cryptids. That's just not, in my mind, that's not how it's categorized.
Sure.
But, I mean, Wendigos, whether it's a possession or whatever, they have a physical component. They take over the body of somebody. Mm-hmm. So they are in the physical realm.
I guess it's just like a spirit that takes over a person, and the combination of them is a Wendigo. Right.
And there's it's something. Have you guys seen? I know you have. Have you seen Firefly?
Very little, but yes.
Okay. So, are you familiar with the Reavers?
No, I can't say for sure.
Okay. So
they are Creepy AF.
Yeah, so the first time that I read the true portrayal or legend or whatever of the Wendigo, it was talking about how they were cannibalistic, and they something like their flesh could be rotting, and I read something that mentioned they having like desiccated lips.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was one that I read. Go ahead.
So it really made me think of the Reavers from Firefly, because they're people who just went nuts, and like they would mutilate their bodies, and they were cannibalistic, and they're just out there in space looking for more people to butcher and eat.
Oh wow.
And torture.
Space Digo.
Yeah. Space Wendigos.
Not in the wind, because there's no oxygen in space.
That's true.
Yeah, the research that I was doing said that the Wendigo is so hungry for, human flesh that they literally chewed their own lips off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's one story where a Wendigo kidnaps this Indian kid, Native American kid, and is going to eat him, but he's like skin and bones, and so the Wendigo sent him into this village to get fat. And of course the kid was like, he went into the village, and then for some reason the Wendigo was like, I should totally shout for the kid to hurry up and come back. And so he alerted the villagers. The villagers went out and cut his legs off.
Yep.
And they went to check on him later to see if he was dead. And he was just out there eating his own legs. They're like, it's that good? And he was basically like, yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So then they diced him up in little pieces and made sure he was dead that time.
Yeah. Apparently the only way to actually get rid of a Wendigo is to kill them and burn the bodies so that there's no way for them to come back in.
Right, because they can apparently regenerate.
Yeah.
Fire says no to regeneration, kids.
To melt their cold heart, that's what I was going to
Yes.
get into, was that apparently their heart's made of ice, and at least as the stories go. So like there are also cures that had been attempted, and supposedly worked in some cases. So these cures were to eat very fatty animal meat, and even like drink the grease off of that meat while it was hot. And in some cases, in the curing process, the Wendigo in question would vomit up chips of ice.
Interesting.
Right. I thought that was pretty.
Grease just kind of makes it easier,
I guess. So, yeah.
Lubricates things a bit.
Yeah.
Bacon grease has so many uses, as we've been taught our whole lives in the South.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much you can't do with bacon grease. Keep a fire going.
There's a lot of things you shouldn't do with bacon grease.
Keep a fire going.
Yeah.
It's a trap.
It's all a trap.
So the Wendigo intrigues me a lot, because of its ties to Native culture. That's a story in that case that has been here.
It's been here forever.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go back and you can find like the first recorded incident, but there's so many Native American stories about it that kind of center around the north central area of America, a little bit of Canada, and the Great Lakes.
Right.
And it's interesting. There's a lot of Native American just cultures and subcultures that have grown up there, and they share this story, but they're from different like tribes and stuff.
Sure. I've seen multiple spellings, but like with letters changed only a little bit,
Right,
so
yeah.
slightly different pronunciations.
Right.
Yeah, there's a couple of dozen spellings, seems like, but like you said, it's just kind of they played Scrabble with the letters a little bit.
Right. They moved the vowels around, added a few.
There's like a couple, I think, that aren't recognizable, but I think that they're probably still. I mean, I don't know this. Because English translation of words is weird, and they could still sound the same.
Sure. So there was one story of I guess he worked for a merchant company. It was a native a native guy who got snowed in one winter. And they seem to be, the spirits themselves seem to be a representation of winter, but then also greed and hunger. This Native American, his job was to be a package runner, basically. His name was Swift Runner. And during one winter, weather got so bad that him and his family of 6, counting himself, got snowed in. And they weren't sure about how food was going to go. And his eldest son died. So rather than Swift Runner taking a quick, 25-mile jaunt down the way to get some emergency supplies, he just went ahead and killed the rest of his family and ate them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they found like a shoe in one of the skulls.
Whoa.
Which is really creepy. Why? Like, is that how the person died? Oh, I'm so sorry. There is a cat on the table. Hold on.
It's the Parask,
Shoe.
ladies and gentlemen.
Shoe, darling. Yeah, you can just pick her up and
Okay.
Sorry.
The Wendigo, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Shoe in the head. So there was they aren't sure if that's just how that family member happened to die, like if he just killed them by shoving a shoe through their head.
Okay.
But like all the bones were picked clean, but there was still food in the house.
Oh, okay.
So like he could have gone and gotten food, or like he could have tried for his family, or he could have just ate what was in the house.
Which was people? Oh, you meant food.
Like food, yeah. Like actual legit
right.
food was, and he didn't look. I mean, even though he had,
Don't profile people into being whether they're Wendigos or not, Amy. We're not about that life.
But like he didn't look super starved. He didn't look like he had not eaten for a while and then he killed his family and just had a big meal. Like he had been constantly sustained. So it's unclear if he like killed them all at once, if he killed them one at a time. Like it's kind of unclear what happened.
Right. The story that I read was that he turned himself in.
Yeah, I think he did. I don't know exactly. I think he got hanged because they were going to ask him. There was some inquisitor that came in and was going to ask, like, what happened, what caused you to do this, what made you think of doing this to your family. And before he could get there, they had already hung him and he had been executed for his crimes. Which, I mean, I don't know.
Could have got away with it if those meddling kids hadn't have been so fattening.
Right?
Yeah. And something that I kind of want to touch on just a little bit is that once again, as Amy had mentioned earlier, these are legends from like Native American tribes and some of the First Nations, which is like the central northern like portion of the United States and then southern Canada, which also happens to be right around Wisconsin, which is where the Beast of Bray Road's from.
Oh no!
Raise his eyebrow.
Yeah. If you do have something that used to be a person and is not really good at going on all fours, that's eating things. Not that not that everything is something is not that all cryptids are the same cryptid, but
I don't know.
Some
cryptozoologists would argue some are the same.
I mean, I'm sure there probably are some. Like, realistically, is Bigfoot any different from the Yeti? We'll get there, guys. I mean, I'm sure there's differences, but it's the.
They have different moms.
They're cousins or something, right?
Yeah. But we do see a lot of similarities in some cryptids, but I think that it's real neat to see or consider if Native American lore had any impact on the evolution of some stories or some cryptid sightings.
I'd say it had to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The way a culture portrays a certain creature is always going to define how it's viewed to other cultures. It's not always just what it is, but
yeah.
So, Amy, you were saying that there was also a mental condition named after the Wendigo.
So that actual story was what built this idea of I think it's called Wendigo psychosis, which is super fun.
Yeah.
It's just I think it's defined as the need to consume human flesh without being starved.
Right.
So you don't have to be in a situation when you're like, should I eat someone or die?
Mm-hmm.
It's
you just
should I eat
want
someone?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Hannibal.
that's supposed to be the first sign of becoming a Wendigo, but they've also seen this in a couple different instances where people have just eaten flesh because they either want to or they just have this voice in their head telling them to, but they haven't you could diagnose it to someone, I guess, but they haven't defined it.
Right. Hasn't been
in psychology.
recognized.
Yeah, it hasn't been scientifically recognized.
Sure.
One of the few things
Just
not in the
'cause
DSM.
Yeah, it's really hard. Well, so is caffeine being addictive, which is ridiculous. It's definitely an addiction.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really hard to diagnose something that doesn't have enough credibility behind it or enough instances that are properly studied in order for psychology to say, yes, this is diagnosable.
Right. Well, I mean, from what I read also that, like, there is the intense desire to consume human flesh, but then also an absolute fear of being a cannibal.
Yes.
So I mean,
it's still kind of a human aspect to it. You're
Sure.
not completely a monster, I guess.
Right.
But
And from what I understood, you could actually have one without the other. Like,
okay.
like there were some people who were just deeply afraid of becoming cannibals.
Yeah.
I mean, if you
I
want to
think
get
that is
technical,
a,
I'm terribly afraid of becoming a cannibal.
I mean, same. That's not something I want.
I mean, I'm afraid of it in the sense that I don't want to do it, but
I don't want to be in a situation that forces me to have to make that decision either.
Prior to reading the word cannibal somewhere or hearing it, I can't say that in any given day I think about cannibalism.
Sure. Logical.
So, but now I do have an issue with sea monsters, and I can say for certain that very few days go by, if any, where I don't think about sea monsters.
Yeah,
at least once.
That's true.
So
Shark Week is hard around our house.
Look, sharks aren't even that bad. Like I'm okay with sharks, even great whites.
You don't even like
Megalodons
whales,
are not cool.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason they're extinct. It's because I went back in time and fixed the issue.
Sometimes you got to mop the problem up after it happens, and sometimes you do it before.
That's right.
Preempt it.
Oh gosh.
So I have a theory.
Yes.
Just right quick.
I'm ready.
Not that we're even planning on covering this subject. Maybe we will, but it'd be pretty pointless because smarter people than us have tried.
Want to bet?
My theory is that the Roanoke settlement was completely demolished through a Wendigo.
Oh my good. Yeah, it could have been.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's an interesting theory, though.
that's a movie that hasn't been made yet.
Because, they were like, we'll be back in a little while. Don't burn the house down. And instead, the kids just left, and the house moved.
Yeah.
And they don't know where they put it.
Yeah, they haven't. I think they had only one lead, but they can't really prove it. They had one Native American settlement where they have some Native Americans that have an English last name. And they're like, oh, maybe some of the settlers got mixed up in there, and then they married some of the locals, and they took that last name, and it just kind of went from there. But it's really hard to prove something like that.
Obviously. Right.
Especially that far back, the DNA records would be the only thing you could use, and that's real hard to.
Yeah. Plus the Wendigo got him. So.
Yeah, right. It could have been that maybe a Wendigo got most of it.
Turns out
and
they're
some
all
escaped, and that's where they went.
Turns out they're all just related to the Wendigo.
Oh no. I would rather not.
No, I hope not to find out I have Wendigo ancestry. Hey, look, I am not racist. Okay, there's nothing wrong with the Blue Man Group.
There's nothing wrong with that. No.
Yeah, no.
Or Twi'leks, for that matter.
Oh yeah, no. I think those are pretty universally considered to be hot.
So yeah, from what if you're into tentacles on heads, and I hear they're operational, right? We're getting into a weird spot.
Wow.
We are, I'm just over here.
That really kind of depends. Disney's done some weird stuff with canon. So
Disney's done some weird stuff, period. But
yeah.
if we talk too much about it, we're gonna get Clintoned.
Yeah. All I'm gonna say is, where's our Wendigo movie, Disney? Where's our Princess Wendigo movie?
Oh, it's got to be coming.
Oh,
Pocahontas 3.
Oh,
The Wendigo.
They're going.
Oh yeah, I
You're
forgot
calling
they
them out
did a
now.
second one.
Shh, there is no Pocahontas 2 in Ba Sing Se.
What? It's cute. Stop. It's a cute movie.
No, it is a cute movie.
It's hardly historically accurate, but it's
You mean
cute.
what?
It's cute.
I mean,
there's so much I can say about that movie. It's as far as a Disney movie goes, for kiddos, it's a cute movie.
Yeah, no, I really can't hate on Pocahontas 2. There's way better movies to hate on. Beast of Bray Road.
Oh.
Yeah.
Aw.
Listen to our last episode for that.
Yeah.
Stop kicking that dead horse, Billy. He can't help it. They had $30 to make the movie.
It was $29, David.
No.
And they still had to go to Wendy's. Yep. So, so what do you guys think as far as, like, okay, so
Wendigo's real. Just don't go out in the woods. I'm just gonna go ahead and call that.
I feel like the essence of the Wendigo is very real, because they're like a cautionary tale about being greedy and things.
Yeah.
And that's something we see in a lot of civilizations. I don't know if I honestly don't remember what children's book it was from, but there was like this disease called the galloping greedy green give-me's or something like that.
Oh, was that?
Maybe the Berenstain Bears. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But anyway, like a lot of cultures have the idea that you'll have a manifestation of your greed.
You'll become something terrible.
Yeah, and it's just and a lot of it's just a metaphor for becoming a greedy capitalist pig.
Right.
So Wendigos, essentially, probably the essence of them is real, I think, personally. Now, you big pot-belly, emaciated dude in the woods, I've not heard a lot of those sightings recently.
Right.
There's actually a Native American ceremony that they do during times of famine, and they'll dance around a fire backwards, and it's like to ward away the Wendigo spirits.
Right.
During times of famine. To my understanding, the last known one was close to 100 years ago. So the native, even publicly at least, the Native Americans themselves, I guess, really aren't that worried about it. But
we don't talk about Bruno.
We don't talk. Yeah, I'm not going to actually sing that. I don't want to get copyright struck.
I was going to say we'll get struck.
For my beautiful voice, that's obviously spot on. Walls. But yeah, so I'm gonna be Josh Gates here, confirmed.
I think it's, as far as the Native Americans and their stories on it, I think they've passed it down for a reason. Like you said, it's a cautionary tale, but somehow it was based in fact, whether that was some greedy tribe member that became an outcast because of his behavior or something, and there could have been a bunch of different ways that the tale started, but it serves today, I think, as a cautionary tale about greed.
Yep. Don't this is my Pot of Greed's band.
It's never coming off the list either.
Nope.
It's literally just 2 cards.
If I actually see a Wendigo, I'm gonna
Don't
be really
pet the Wendigo.
No, because if they see you, they won't let you out of their sights. They'll chase you until they can eat you.
I mean,
once you're their target, you're always their target.
Look, I hate running.
But how cool would it be to actually find a Wendigo?
I mean, that would be pretty cool. I hope mine's wearing a deer skull.
I'm good.
You want the white cheese version of it?
I just think it's cool imagery.
You're right. I mean, it is a cool image.
If I'm gonna die, if I'm gonna die to a Wendigo, I want it to look like the ancient Haggis.
Okay,
Like,
that's fair.
Like I need that in my life.
You can.
Well, I mean, the older depictions without the deer skull that I've seen just kind of look like forest vampire.
Yeah, they're
so
just
skinny,
real,
gaunt,
like,
small, pale, but quick. So I mean, the deer skull. I mean, sorry, but we put a little dressing on it, and now it tastes better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it looked good in Supernatural.
I mean, realistically, I think if you meet a real Wendigo, deer skull or no deer skull, I feel like it's going to be pretty creepy and oppressive. And
the last thing you'll probably think about is the aesthetic, if we're being honest.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean,
but you're not going to have a lot of time to think anyway.
Yeah, probably not.
Nothing but run.
So, if you don't see us again, guys, we said Wendigo too many times, and
we
have
said
been
it a
eaten.
lot.
Yeah.
I wish we'd had a count or a button for each time.
Guess what? I can add that in post.
You know what? I'm here for it. I'm watching that episode just for that.
Gosh.
But yeah, so we may have been eaten. If so,
episode 3 and onward are
canceled.
Yeah, not going to be getting those.
Nope. Remember us, friends and family. Please come to our funeral.
I always wanted a Viking funeral, but there wouldn't be anything to set on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are also illegal here.
Yeah.
You're dead. What do you care?
That's a good point.
Arrest you? Kill you? Come on.
Look.
There is one place in America where you could still do sky burials, though. That's awesome.
They just drop you out of a plane.
No, they pin you up and you get eaten by birds.
But like you have to have been like a resident there for like
7
quite
years.
a while,
Yeah.
and there's like a bunch of rules about it.
You have to like legally get documentation saying that you wanted this.
That's rather strange.
Yeah.
Hey, but
sky burying.
I think it's
But
in
also,
Colorado.
like,
I could be
Can you
wrong,
really
though.
call it burial when you just eventually get shitted back out? Nobody ever turns over any dirt for you.
You become part of nature.
Is that what that is?
I forget where it originates, but it's a cool way to, it's unique.
I just want to be sure I'm already dead.
That's fair.
Because birds are freaky enough as it is.
Yeah, you don't want to wake
Well,
up.
then that is not for you.
Yeah.
You don't want to wake up chained to a rock and a seabird eat your spleen.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, spleen's the least of my worries.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, guys. So, Amy,
That's me.
thank you for joining us. It is you, my lovely wife. If you didn't already know.
Watch or listen to the last episode.
Yes,
Or watch it if it comes out on YouTube.
Do both.
We'll see if that happens.
Like, comment, and subscribe. So obviously the videos / episodes are airing now. I'm gonna keep calling these things videos. It's just a force of habit from dabbling in video production over the course of time. But if you have suggestions for the next time we do cryptids, put it in the comments. Let us know. We definitely will compile a list and look at it next time we go to do cryptids. Because I would like to do this again sometime.
I just want to bring one on.
Yeah.
Even a low level. Like a jackalope.
I would love a jackalope.
Okay. If you have a jackalope, please hit us up.
Wolvertinger. Have you seen those?
Don't spoil the next one, Amy.
Oh man. So not gonna spoil the next one for you guys. If you want to know what it is, you're gonna have to tune in and find out. Next one tomorrow. So check it out.
This has been Geek Drasil. Thanks for checking in, guys.